One of the brain's amazing features is the ability to remember. Memory refers to the processes that are used to acquire, store, retain, and later retrieve information. One stage of memory is known as short-term memory, which takes over when the information in our sensory memory is transferred to our conscious or awareness. According to the research, humans can remember approximately 5 to 9 bits of information in our short-term memory per 20 to 30 seconds. Brain's memory. Our question focuses on whether or not color plays an effect on the ability to remember. This question has been raised throughout history in numerous studies. Psychologists Homa and Vieira found a clear advantage in retention of color photos over black and white. In a similar study, psychologists published an article by the American Psychological Organization stating that overall, color helps us to process and store images more effectively than colorless images, and therefore remembering them better as well.
For our experiment, we tested a group of random people on their ability to remember. We contained a series of 15 colored images and 15 black and white images in random order, and held them up for each participant for a few seconds per picture. After showing all of the images, we waited for a minute and then instructed each participant to record every picture they could recall. The list of photos helped contribute to our data that would explain our hypothesis. Our belief was that each individual was more likely to recall any of the photos printed in color, more so than in black and white. We thought that the colored images had more of an effect on a person's memory.
Together we tested 11 different people, telling them that we were experimenting with the brain's ability to remember. The participants were unaware that our experiment focused specifically between color and black and white. This way, they wouldn't know to try and focus on the colored pictures and change our results. What we found is that, for the most part, our data supported our hypothesis. In most cases, students wrote down one or two more colored photos than black and white. When our entire data was collected and analyzed, we found that 11 people together remembered 82 colored photos and 51 black and white photos. All 11 people remembered 49% of the 15 colored photos, while only remembering 31% of the black and white. 3 people remembered more black and white images than colored, and 7 people recalled a greater amount of colored images over black and white, and 1 person remembered the same amount of colored and black and white images. The numbers of our data do in fact support our hypothesis. When we researched for our experiment, we came across a similar study published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology that asked participants to look at 48 images, half color, half black and white, and later recall what they had already seen when added to 48 new photos. The participants remembered the colored photos significantly better than black and white, proving that color also influences the way we see and process information. It can improve our ability to remember both words and pictures.
Although our results did in fact prove our hypothesis to be correct, we still found it surprising that the number of colored photos in comparison to black and white were not higher. We had expected a much more extreme difference in numbers. We think that this could be partly because of our testing methods. A majority of our partakers were students being tested in classroom settings. It's possible that the environment and distractions in school caused our participants to be less focused and somewhat affect the results. Overall, we were pretty impressed with the outcome of our experiment. After a lot of background research and testing, we were happy to find that our data did in fact match up with the beginning hypothesis. Studying the brain and mental processes is a fascinating part of psychology. It is both complex and intriguing. The brain plays an important role in its ability to remember so much information, whether it's through short-term or long-term memory. It's evident that there are many factors that can increase the ability for a brain to remember, color being a major factor. We are lucky enough to see in a world full of color in our everyday lives. Learning that color is a key factor in memorization, humans can learn to use it to its advantage when studying, marketing, presenting, and in other everyday tasks. We hope you enjoyed and learned from our experiment, Color Effect on Memory. Thanks to the 11 willing participants who helped form the results and prove our hypothesis.